Well, greetings and salutations, Series 24 test takers. This is Dean Tinney coming to you from my off-grid studio, getting our kicks on historic Route 66 with an explication request. I had a Series 24 test taker who did a tutoring session last week, and these were some of the questions he brought to that session that he wanted to discuss and explicate, and we did so. And I've been sharing those with you. Probably a handful more here. This is the third in the sequence of questions that we went over in that tutoring session. The inside market, by the way, if you have questions, send them to explication request at guruexamprep.com. The inside market for a Nasdaq stock is 2115, 2135, 10 by 10. Well, our time together is always a buffet. Take what you like, leave what you don't. I always like to make my own exhibit. So I like to put 2115, 2135, and I like to put 10 by 10. We refer to that as the size of the quote. You should not be struggling that the inside quote is the highest bid. The inside market, inside quote, is the highest bid and the lowest ask. Now, we're not sure based on the setup, this I call the setup, based whether it's going to be meaningful or not. But if we were looking at a market order from a customer, the customer always sells with a market order at the low price and buys at the high price. The way I say that is with a market order, the customer's on the opposite side of the market maker's quote. The quote is inside from the market maker's perspective looking out. And so right now it looks like a customer could sell 1,000 shares at 2115 and buy 1,000 shares at 2135. Okay, now it says market maker A. So let's now what I like to do is just put market maker A here. And let's see what's up with market maker A. Is quoting, I always like to put it under here. So 2105, 2105, 2135. Boom. And the quote of this market maker is 15 by 10. So that means that this market maker is willing to buy 1,500 shares into their inventory at 2105 and sell 1,000 shares out of inventory 2135. Those represent round lots. So again, if I had a customer, I market maker A, my customer gives me an order to buy at the market, 2135, gives me an order to sell at the market, 2105. It says the market maker then accepts a customer order to buy 300 shares at 2110. Well, first major point, it's not the customer's job to tell me that that's a limit order. Whenever a customer specifies his price, that makes it a market order, or a limit order, right? So he's told me that he wants to buy this stock at 2110 or less. Boom. Now, people who struggle in the trading section of the Series 24 are typically packaged product persons. And, if you're a packaged product person, like a mutual fund person, come to the 24, maybe you want to spend some time on reviewing types of orders. This is a limit order. And again, it doesn't have to tell me on the exam that this is a limit order. If customer specifies the price, that means it's a limit order. Now, with limit orders, the way I think of it is the customer's on the same side as me. So the customer buy limit, because now there's kind of a conflict. I want to buy it at my price, and the customer wants to buy it at his price. And so there's a little conflict here, right? And this would be a customer sell limit. And the way I think of it is the customer with a limit order is on the same side of the quote. So now what I got to do is look at my customer's order. This is called limit order protection to see if he's willing to pay the same or better price than me. So now what we do is we say, okay, well, the customer is willing to pay here 2110, and that is indeed a higher price than I'm willing to pay. I mean, I'm willing to pay 2105 and I'm willing to buy 1,500 shares. This customer is willing to pay 2110 and is willing to do 300 shares. And you could imagine how upset Mr. Manning used to get when I would pretend I don't have that order and wait till I bought it into my inventory at 2105 and then fill them at 2110. right? So, that's the purpose of the limit order protection rules, Manning rules, because Mr. Manning got so irritated. So what I have to do is I can't pretend that I don't have this order. If the customer is willing to pay the same or better, I have to display this order. And so now I'm going to update my quote to reflect 2110, the customer's limit order. So this would be my updated display. 2110, 2135. And now that 300 shares represents the customer limit order. So the size now is going to be 3 on the bid side and still on the ask side 10. So that would be my updated display. So let's see here. Boom. Now that I've got that done, what I want to do is see if that option is available to me as an answer, and there indeed is the answer. It looks like what this test taker may have done and got confused about is the limit order protection, excuse me, doesn't apply to the inside market. It applies to what I'm currently willing to do from inventory, right? So maybe it looks like after the setup here that this really wasn't relevant to answering the question. What's relevant to answer the question is what market maker A's responsibility is. All right, I hope that was helpful. The answer to this question is C. Remember, inch by inch, your exam is a cinch. Yard by yard, your exam is hard. I will link in the video description to a little carve-out lecture I have on limit order protection. I'll have that pinned as a comment, and I'll have that in the video description as well. See you for the next explication request.